It's one of the must-do events on the road race calendar, and early arrivals busy registering for the Carnival City Macsteel Classic. Among the big teams present, Team Bonitas, the start line crew doing their warm-up routine. Organised by the Germiston Wheelers Club, the race raises funds for the Rotary Club, put those funds to good use in a number of community upliftment projects. This year, the pros and the under-23 men tackled a 160-kilometre route. The vets and open men a 120k course, and the licensed women would do 103. And then there was the usual 65k race and the fun rides as well. The weather looked absolutely perfect. Starting at Carnival City outside Brakpan, they looped through Rooikraal past to Rondebolt and Vosloorus, skirting the Cyclists Nature Reserve, out towards Nigel and Heidelberg, and then all the way back to Carnival City on Heidelberg Road. Always tense moments on the start line ahead of the gun. And then the small group of under-23 riders headed away. The Potchefstroom-based World Cycling Centre had a formidable team on the line. Team Abantu there were going to be a handful, and the youthful Europcar squad would be mixing things up as well. Team Bonitas were looking to sprinter Herman Verschier to follow up his Discam ride for sight win with another one here. Faint morning light, they rolled off the line. The opportunity to race over 160 kilometres doesn't come around often for the South African pros. After a diet of 100k races, this would test their stamina, endurance and resilience, and above all, their teamwork. There's no shortage of early action as Team Europcar tried to get away in an early break. WCCA in the MTN Quebec colours and New Horizons were not about to let the green-clad Paul van Zwiel get away that easily. The pace was high. The teams knew that in a race of this distance, a strong breakaway group had a good chance of surviving to the finish, and everyone wanted to be in on the action. Back at the start, the vets were preparing for their off. These are serious men who love racing, and all fancied their chances of doing well out on the roads of Ekurhuleni. The vets are broken up into 5-year groups from 30 upwards. The rivalry within those groups is as fierce as ever, while there's also a little inter-age group rivalry going on as well. The 40 to 49s were racing hard. Marius Stevens is showing well early on. The chase was on. Ken Harris was looking to control things in the main bunch. With 2 weeks to go to the big Cape Argus Pick and Pay Momentum Cycle Tour, this was a chance for these men to test themselves and each other. Back with the elite men, Europcar doing much of the work. Innocent Emmanuel from Nigeria, WCCA looking strong. Bonitas made their first appearance through Chris Jennings. Bantu's David Maria stuck to his wheel. Neil Corbett of Europcar leading the chase in pursuit of the group up the road. Chris Juster Jr. of the ASG Academy and Opa Maluleke of Abantu. Juster's only 19 and a talented rider. Maluleke, 23, is in his first year of elite racing. Izzy Zimmerman of Toyota Cycle Lab driving the fearsome pace in the 40-plus vets. The idea perhaps to burn off as many of the chasing group as possible and reduce the lead group to a manageable one for a sprint finish. Back at Carnival City, the bunches continued to roll over the timing mats as they headed out for a great morning cycling on the relatively traffic-free roads of eastern Ekurhuleni. Among them, the elite ladies, their 103-kilometre route along North Boundary through Rondebolt past Suikerbosrand, through Nigel, and then, of course, Heidelberg, and all the way back to Carnival City and the finish. It was going to be hard racing, and in the bunch, the cream of South African women's road racing, most of whom were still very youthful. Team Velo Life had a strong presence, as did Team Bestmed ASG. Nervous moments initially, and it was the Pretoria-based Bestmed ASG team who clearly keen to take control of the race early on. It was a game of bluff and double bluff, cat and mouse over 103 kilometres. Fantastic to see so many young ladies taking to racing. The Carnival City Macsteel Classic plays a vital role in uplifting the communities on the East Rand, with the funds raised being put to good use by the wonderful work done by the loyal members of the Germiston Rotary Club.
We are helping the whole people here in Kigatole. I'm only accommodating only 30 children, not more than 30. The children here every day, they're eating the fresh food every day. Because I told the mothers they mustn't bring their food because the children, they must eat the healthy food. And with the money, they are paying 170 a month each child. I've got 3 children who are not paying because I'm not after the money, I'm after the people to help the people. And the Rotary, they sponsored me with this container, 12-meter foot.
The Germiston Rotary Club's involvement in this project was on the management side. We acquired, fitted out containers. We used the expertise in our club, the engineers who we've got there who could do the drawings and submit the plans to the council. The toilets, we actually done a complete ablution block. We bought a smaller container and we fitted it out with toilets, complete sanitation for the children. We currently are looking at another project in this area where the money we raise from the cycle race will go towards that project.
What I want now is to upgrade the creche because we haven't got the space. This space is too small and all equipment for the creche for the children.
Back with the elite men on the 160-kilometre route, and their 3-man breakaway group was under serious threat. The main peloton now strung out as the team started to turn up the heat. Martin Scheppel from Europcar put his head down and was making his way over to the break. Also there was David Maria Vabantu. Bonitas had a couple of men, as did WCCA. This was starting to look like a threatening break. Who was going to take charge? Tour of Rwanda winner Dylan Girdleston and teammate Clint Hendricks were there. WCCA's Richard Lazier from Tanzania and Tulisizwe Ngenge were also part of the mix. In the women's race, 19-year-old Andri Kutsia was working hard for Bestmed ASG. Still no meaningful attacks yet, though. As the road tilted upwards, the pace increased. Halfway through the 103 Ks, the women still had plenty of time to make their race-defining moves. Back at the start, more riders preparing for the race.
I enjoy racing. I enjoy staying fit. See my grey hair. I have to stay fit now.
No, we stayed over here at the hotel.
Okay, so
We're from Parys in the Free State.
Yeah, we practice every second day about 40-50 Ks and we think we're ready.
It's a flat race, it's a nice, it's a really good race.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it was 4:20. I always like to get here early so I don't panic.
My first one was on this race was a 65, which was nice. So I'm trying the 103.
Yeah, it's a nice race.
Yeah, always a great race. Always nice to be here. The weather's perfect.
Trusting that the weather's going to hold out for us today, and hopefully everybody comes back unscathed.
Oh, it's my first race ever in Macsteel, so, but I'm looking forward to it. So I'd like to see many of my colleagues, and ministers and other MPs and MPLs and councillors and mayors to join us. The message to a lot of South Africans, we're dying out of lifestyle disease. I'd like to see many people exercising so that we can prevent people from dying from unnecessary death.
A great message from an inspirational woman who only took up cycling less than a year ago, setting a wonderful example. These might be the later start batches, but they're no less aggressive and hungry to race than the elites. They'll all be doing 103 kilometres today. All going at high pace, even the youngsters. Each and every one of them had their own goals and ambitions to achieve today. Back with the elites in the 160k race, a significant break up the road. Bonitas, the dominant team. Behind them, a group had formed to try and bridge across, with MTN WCCA holding the aces. This is the beauty of a race over a longer distance. The teams had the opportunity to manoeuvre, attack, counter-attack and defend. Europcar didn't have a rider in the break, so Martin Scheppel was pulling the WCCA men closer all the time. Dylan Germiston, Clint Hendricks and HB Kruger in the break for Bonitas. They had plenty of strength. Eritrean champion Metkel Eob, the group now 13 strong as they neared Nigel. Now let's find out more about the Germiston Rotary Club.
The Germiston Rotary Club was founded in 1929, and this old age home was the first old age home in Germiston and was purchased by funds raised by the Rotary Club and handed over to the Red Cross for management.
We care for the elderly. A lot of them are frail, but we do our best so that they can stay fit and looking after themselves for as long as possible. They help us financially with everything that big projects that we don't have the money for, because the maintenance, this old home is tremendous. We use certainly funds raised from the cycle race to improve and maintain this very old building. We supplied a cold freezer room. We refurbished their central heating system. We maintain that on a continuous basis. We supply their annual fuel bill. A few years ago we supplied a boomer, a thatched boomer in the garden here. We're grateful for the Rotarians that help us through the years. Without their support and help, we probably wouldn't have been able to do this.
Back to the racing, and the women still all together in their race. Will charge up the road. Wynne Greer reacting to Adele Hubert's attack and then sitting back because she's letting Adele go. She's chasing the Hot Sparks prize and collects it. A little further up the road, a little later, is Bestmed's Charlene Roux. A rain shower created puddles on a wet road, the riders taking it cautiously at the turns. Elsewhere on the route, it's bright sunshine as the pace increases in the seeded batches. These are the men and women who work through the week, training early in the morning and then racing over the weekend. They're the heart and soul of road racing in South Africa, and it's through their love of the sport that events like the Carnival City Macsteel Classic survive and thrive deep into the 21st century. And that's the future of the sport. Dad and daughter, out of the house on a Sunday morning. What a pleasure. That's not such a pleasure.
And is this operation that you're comfortable with?
Well, you can take over from me and I'll hold the camera.
Not likely, thank you. The delights of road racing. Heading towards Nigel, there'd been a split in the women's race. 13 riders are up the road, among them Leandri de Toy, Mandy Human, Andy Kachelhofer and Adele Hubert. It's a big group, and Mandy Human is doing the work on the front. Her teammate Andy Kachelhofer, a major contender. Vet Adele Hubert sticking to Human's wheel. They were all back together again, the energy lost as they headed into Nigel. They would try again, still time for the road to explode. There's a fine line between a safe and pain-free ride and a bruising encounter with the tarmac, which was highlighted with a touch of wheels brought down Chriselle van der Merwe at Bestmed and Coach One's Gillian Jacobs at speed. Fortunately, help was close at hand. Meanwhile, Andy Krutsier was driving the pace in front for Bestmed. Fellow Life's Esther Erdely was on her wheel. In the M10 kit, Elise Fenwick, and hitching a ride, Caitlin Ackerman, both in the women's vets race. In the elite race, things were getting interesting. Annie Kachelhofer, a rider with international experience, had decided to make a move. Well-stocked and cheerfully manned water points provided the riders with the chance to refuel. Well, those who needed it. Clearly none of these. In the junior race, where riders use restricted gears as per Cycling South African regulations, Toyota Cyclab's Paul Johannes was the man to chase. The Vets 30 to 39 group nearing the end of their race, 32-year-old Joe van der Westhuizen smashing the big gears. Back with the juniors, it came down to a sprint. 2 HG riders in the mix with Joshua Bushell, and it was Gustav Besson who crossed the line just ahead of his teammate Jared Hutting.
It was hard. We tried to go from the gun and send a guy in the break, and to let everyone chase so we don't have to do any work. The team rode really well, and we managed to get 1, 2 and 5.
Meanwhile, the men's elite race was unfolding in dramatic fashion. A break of 5. HP Kruger and Clint Hendricks from Bonitas, Metkel Ayob of WCCA, Billy van Sail and David Muri of Abantu, who was not happy about the Eritrean not contributing to the work. The chase group numbered 6, 1 each from ASG, Bonitas, Europcar, Westphal BMC and 2 from WCCA. Bonitas keeping the pace high in the break. They had a numerical advantage and wanted to keep the chase group from catching them. HP Kruger giving his all. Ayob still sitting on Marie's wheel, saving energy for the finale. And soon Bonitas's cause was strengthened because Dylan Girdleston was able to show his strength and made the bridge to catch the lead group. HP Kruger sitting on the back. The final hotspot, 30 k's from the finish, and HP Kruger pocketed the bonus cash ahead of David Maria. Then a dramatic moment, Maria signals to his team car. He's got a problem. Puncture perhaps. Hendricks and Kruger policing Ayob. Maria stops alongside the team car. His race over after the puncture. No matter how quickly his team changed the wheel, the big pace of that lead group would leave them well back. The vagaries of road racing. Frustrated, time ticking by. Maria's chances of a win for Team Abantu seemingly gone. While Mum and Dad were out on the big wide roads of Ekurhuleni, the very little ones were having a race of their own in the car park. Some faster than others, with a little help as well. Thirsty work, this bike racing thing. A fantastic time for these energy bunnies, that are toddlers, of course. This little guy found the best way to win just to push his bike. The bigger kids had their turn as well, some turning better than others. And at the end of it all, the all-important race medal, just to prove you'd done it. Well done. Riders in the shorter distance races cruising over the line, and the vibe at Carnival City festive. Friends and family watching out for their loved ones as they cross the line. Meanwhile, out on the road, the women's elite peloton had thinned out dramatically. The wheat had been sorted from the chaff, and from this group, the winner was sure to emerge. Up the road, Mandi Human of Esmero. Her teammate Anli Kachelhofer sitting comfortably in the main bunch behind 2 Velolife riders and Adele Hubert. Velolife sending another rider up the road, perhaps for Lisa Ulufi. Not for long though. It was brought back into the group and they were heading into the sprint finish here. It's tense times and very, very tight racing as well. Oh, and down goes Wyn Greer. Touch of wheels in the sprint. That is so dangerous. Adele Hubert up front. Anli Kachelhofer tucked in behind her, and the little pocket rocket charges out of the saddle and powers to victory. A very, very well-earned win for Anli Kachelhofer. This event provides great support to the Germiston Child and Family Welfare Program through Rotary's initiatives.
Germiston Child Welfare is a non-profit organisation that was established in 1912. Our core business is child protection. So we focus on services to children and their families. Our organisation has approximately 200 foster parents that are not related, and we have almost 2,600 children in foster care at this point in time. And that's where the Germiston Rotary Club really come in and support us. So often these families, they're not wealthy families, they're middle class, average families who have their own children to support. I phone them, please assist us. Food parcels, they need some clothes, they need something that can just at least provide for this baby for the time period that the child's going to be there. And the Germiston Rotary Club helped us to set up a strong room where we could save documents, financial documents, other important documents, adoption files that need to be kept for at least 75 years. And they set up the strong room for us, they installed it, and they made sure that it met our requirements.
Back with the elite men and the chase group, Maria keen to make the crossing and rejoin the leaders after his puncture. But Sail was on his wheel. The storm clouds gathering, they upped the tempo, sensing the catch might come. The gap was whittled down to no more than half a minute with 5 Ks to go. Bonitas held all the aces in the break, Germiston, Creer and Hendricks against the lone WCCA man, Macsteel. Maria still driving the chasers. The 2 WCCA riders are not going to help him. They had a man in the break. Europcar's Martin Scheppel went across to give Meron Teshom a helping hand. Up ahead, Maria had taken Willie van Sail with him in a last-ditched effort to gain contact with the lead group. They were working together here. The 3 against 1 in the lead group, Macsteel Ayab was not going to contribute for 1 second to the Bonitas men as they rotated on the front. They had to try and drop the Eritrean. It was coming down to a sprint. Clint Hendricks and Ayob. And it's Hendricks who has a problem. He looks as though he's cramped. Ayob can go and he's free to race to victory. A wonderful win for the MTN Kubeka WCCA squad and the Eritrean rider. HB Creer and Clint Hendricks devastated as they crossed the line in 2nd and 3rd. Against all odds, Ayob had taken the victory and Hendricks was inconsolable. The MTN-backed WCCA squad, who are based in Potchefstroom and made up of riders from all over the African continent, had much to celebrate, as did all the riders as they crossed the line. Tired but satisfied, they headed for their cars, having enjoyed the freedom of the roads, courtesy of Carnival City and Macsteel.
Macsteel's got a big interest in social development in the community and also in sports development, and the Macsteel Carnival City race brings those 2 things together. We're raising money through Rotary Club, and we're serving the community by putting on an event like this for thousands of cyclists. It is a favourite because people of all shapes and sizes from 7 to 70 can have a go. You see there's thousands of people here.
And with the Carnival City Macsteel cycle race, it's an annual event that's very well supported. Through the numbers of people that come through, it's always going towards a good cause. One of the key benefactors is obviously the Rotary Club of Germiston. We as Carnival City, on behalf of Sun International, we as a company and as a corporate organization believe in rewarding those people through initiatives such as these. And at the end of the day, putting a smile on someone's face, being able to have a physical cash contribution, being able to assist them with a cause that's in line with creating branding and awareness is our key focus. And we will continue to do so as long as we can.
It was a wonderful day, no matter how long you spent out on the road. A chance to live a little, take on a challenge, or conquer a fear. Just ride your bike. A great way to spend a Sunday morning. Macsteel Ayab against all odds, upsetting the Bonitas apple cart, and MTN WCCA had a number of riders in the top 10.
My plan is I'm not sprinter, but I'm going to attack. So is one guy, Bonitas is very sprinter. Just in 1 kilometer is I going to attack, but no one follow me.
The women's race was won by Annelie Kachelhofer in 3 hours 27 minutes from Lisa Olofira and Monique Gerber taking 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, the race started out, we actually started out all the girls really contributing to the pace making. The first 40 Ks is always a quick one, and then some of the attacks went flying. I had a teammate in the race today, Mandy Himan, who rode like a superstar. I mean, she really controlled the race for me, and where I had to go, I went, and like we just worked like a clock together today. And yeah, hats off to Better Life and Bestmet that really did like great racing today, and they really tried to make the race very aggressive, which is always good for women's cycling.
We've got a small development team, primarily consisting of youngsters, that we're trying to promote cycling. It's a fit sport, it gets them off the streets, and we've got from young girls to young guys up until the age of late teens. So they're going through the ranks, and some of them are getting podiums at races like today.
Gustavo Besson won the junior race, Alex Pavlov the Vets A's, and Jacques-Louis van Beek the Vets B's. The famous Gary Biereke took the Vets C's. Adele Joubert was the winner in the women's Vets, and George de Gavea and Bryce Hennessy took the tandems, with Wilhelm and Andreas Stein in the mixed tandems. They were all waiting to to get onto the podium, those who'd won their day. And it was Annelie Kochelhoffer, flanked by second place Lisa Ulefier and third place Monique Gerber. Top of the men's podium, a somewhat subdued Metkel Ayob, sandwiched between the Bonitas pair. This program is dedicated to the memory of Leslie Johnson.